The soft girl era. Why choosing yourself first is the most radical thing a Black woman can do. Good evening. I want to tell you about a woman who has spent most of her life being everything to everyone and is now choosing radically and unapologetically to be something to herself first. Her name is Christine Mayo. Christine is a mother of five, a grandmother of five, the daughter of two blind parents, a survivor of gun violence and domestic abuse, an author, a playwright, a community servant, and a treasurer for a nonprofit called Beauty to the Block. She works in the accounting department of a marketing agency. She wrote a book hoping that young girls will read it and realize they don't want abuse in their lives. She produced a play in Cincinnati and hopes to bring it to Trenton, New Jersey. She serves her community as much as possible. Christine Mayo is making the world a better place, not by being louder or stronger or more perfect, but by finally choosing to stop abandoning herself. And what she taught me, what the research confirms, and what I want to share with you tonight is this: self neglect is not strength, it is silent self destruction. For too many Black women, especially those of us between 38 and 55, being the strong one has been normalized. We are the ones who hold down the household, raise the children, care for aging parents, lead the teams, build the businesses, serve the church, anchor the community. We are the ones who show up no matter what. We are the ones who do not break, do not complain, do not rest. We wear our capacity like a badge of honor, and we are dying inside because of it. Christine Mayo knows this intimately. She grew up as the daughter of two blind parents, which meant she became the caretaker, the navigator, the responsible one, long before she was ready. At 8 years old, she lost her brother to gun violence. At 18, she met her husband. 15 years later, they married. 11 years after that, they divorced after years of mental, physical, and emotional abuse. Through it all, Christine kept going. She raised her children. She worked, she served, she survived. But survival, she will tell you, is not the same as living. And that brings me to the first truth I want to leave with you tonight. Self neglect is not strength, it is silent self destruction. For many Black women professionals and entrepreneurs, being the strong one for everybody, kids, parents, spouse, friends, clients, has been normalized. But that constant overfunctioning is exactly what leads to burnout, depression, and numbing behaviors like overdrinking or workaholism. Research shows that women in business who ignore their mental health face higher rates of anxiety, exhaustion, and concentration problems, which directly hurts their leadership, creativity, and revenue. Prioritizing rest, therapy, boundaries, and joy is not selfish, it is strategic. Let me tell you about a woman who learned this the hard way. She is a Black woman founder, a single woman, the sole breadwinner for her household. She has been in business for over a decade. She has scaled her company. She has reached six-figure revenue milestones. She has built a team. From the outside, she looks like the embodiment of success, but inside, she was collapsing. She described the constant pressure of maintaining income, scaling her business, and holding everything together with no backup plan. She said she felt second guessed at every turn, having to prove she deserved to be there as a Black woman founder. The emotional and mental fatigue from years of hustling, scaling, and trying to maintain revenue was crushing her. And the invisible expectation to be strong, available, and high performing at all times, very similar to being the go to person in family and community, was suffocating her. She expected that after a decade, it would feel easier. Instead, she realized that the external success did not remove the inner pressure. The more she achieved, the more she felt she had to keep going. She was trapped in a cycle of high capacity, high responsibility, and no space for herself. Sound familiar? What saved her was acknowledging that mental fortitude and emotional capacity are as critical as strategy and skills in business. She named the pressure out loud. She reframed success to include wellness and sustainability, not just money and growth. She sought community, mentorship, and better access to resources so the load was not carried alone. And she began to make more intentional decisions about scaling and workload, decisions that honored her humanity, not just her hustle. Her story challenges the glamorized boss narrative and opens space for honest conversations about mental health and boundaries in Black women's entrepreneurship. It validates other Black women who feel guilty for wanting daily rest or a softer life by naming wellness as non negotiable for long term success. And this brings me to the second truth Christine Mayo shared with me. Your happiness and wholeness are not optional. They are the foundation of your purpose, your business, and your legacy. Research shows that women in business who ignore their mental health face higher rates of anxiety, exhaustion, and concentration problems, which directly hurts their leadership, creativity, and revenue. Prioritizing rest, therapy, boundaries, and joy is not selfish, it is strategic. Let me tell you about another group of women who learned this truth through crisis. One of them is Whitney Stringer. She not only runs a business, but also builds wellness focused events for business leaders to combat burnout. These women often feel they must overperform to be taken seriously, resulting in long hours, missed family time, and emotional depletion. One entrepreneur experienced a severe health crisis requiring hospitalization and yet still felt responsible to reassure clients from her hospital bed. Let that sink in for a moment. She was in a hospital bed fighting for her health and still felt the weight of everyone else's comfort on her shoulders. Many Black women struggle with internal expectations to excel financially while carrying family responsibilities and generational pressure. These entrepreneurs entered business to secure financial stability and independence, often with the goal of uplifting family and community. Over time, the weight of being the provider, the role model, and the responsible one led to exhaustion and, in some cases, medical emergencies. Through these experiences, some founders shifted from glorifying hustle to centering wellness in their work and offerings. They integrated wellness practices like movement, journaling, and sound baths into business life to care for mental and emotional health. They built community based programs and spaces where Black women founders can get support and mentorship without predatory price tags. They explicitly named wellness as a vital part of entrepreneurship strategy, not an afterthought. The result? Wellness centered events created for Black business leaders that normalize rest and emotional care, increase visibility around the reality that entrepreneurship can trigger health crises if wellness is ignored, more honest conversations about the emotional cost of always being the strong one and the necessity of boundaries. Their work helps normalize conversations about mental health, burnout, and boundaries for Black women leaders. It reinforces Christine Mayo's message that you cannot be all things to everyone when you are unwell, and that business success must be built on emotional and physical stability, your own soft girl era. And that brings me to the third truth. The real soft girl era is about radical boundaries and intentional living, not laziness or avoidance. Studies on burnout highlight that constantly saying yes, overworking, and carrying everyone's emotional load is unsustainable. Embracing a soft life means choosing aligned work, setting limits with family and clients, delegating, and designing a life where you are not dying inside just to keep everyone else comfortable. The African Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative examined mental health among women in business and developed a self care action plan tailored to them. Reports showed that 86% of female entrepreneurs struggled with symptoms of poor mental health, and that 4 in 5 small business owners experienced poor mental health. Female entrepreneurs, especially those juggling business and caregiving, often push themselves to the max and often to exhaustion. Burnout is recognized by the World Health Organization as an occupational phenomenon, yet many women still do not seek help. The cooperative promotes a structured self care framework. Red behaviors identify what must stop immediately, including draining relationships and overextending yourself. Yellow behaviors increase supportive habits like sleep, hydration, and movement. Green behaviors start critical practices such as setting boundaries, delegating, and ending work on time. Three guiding steps: be intentional, schedule time for yourself as non negotiable. Be generous, treat self care as a daily need, not a rare reward. Be yourself, focus on your journey, not comparison. The cooperative works closely with women entrepreneurs who often are heads of households, community anchors, and employers all at once. Many entered entrepreneurship to create better lives for their families, but found themselves overwhelmed by the weight of responsibility, mirroring Christine Mayo's experience of being a mother, caregiver, and worker for everyone around her. The result? Women equipped with a concrete action plan to protect their mental and emotional health while running businesses. A reframing of self care from selfish to a survival and success strategy completely aligned with Christine's philosophy. This work encourages a new narrative where health and happiness are integral to entrepreneurship, not a reward at the end. It empowers women, many of them Black and bearing family and community responsibility, to choose themselves first so they can sustainably support others. Christine Mayo is still showing up. She wrote that book, she produced that play, she serves her community. She was just asked to be the treasurer of beauty to the block. But now she is showing up for herself too. She is no longer abandoning herself to keep everyone else comfortable. She is living in her soft girl era and she is thriving because of it. So I want to ask you something, and I need you to be radically honest with yourself right now. Where in your life are you slowly dying inside just to keep everyone else comfortable? What role are you playing that is costing you your peace, your joy, your health, your sanity? What boundary have you been too afraid to set because you were taught that your needs come last? Here's what I know to be true: you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot lead from a place of depletion. You cannot love others well when you have abandoned yourself. The world does not need you to be stronger, it needs you to be whole. And wholeness starts the moment you decide that your happiness, your rest, your boundaries, your softness are non negotiable. So here's what I want you to do. Before this day ends, I want you to write down one commitment to yourself, just one. It might be, I will no longer answer work emails after 7 p.m. It might be, I will stop attending family events that drain me. It might be, I will ask for help instead of carrying everything alone. It might be, I will rest without guilt. Whatever it is, write it down, put it somewhere you see every day, and let that be the first step into your own soft girl era. Because the truth is, choosing yourself is not selfish, it is survival, it is strategy, it is sacred, and it is the most radical thing a Black woman can do in a world that has taught us to be everything to everyone except ourselves. Christine Mayo is proof that it is possible. You are proof that it is necessary. Now go choose you. Thank you.